Hi and welcome to CSM Tech. I'm Peter Briggs, and today we're going to do a little bit something a little bit different. I'm going to do a little video on Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer that came out on Valentine's Day. One of the big things for me is that I'm a massive comic book movie fan. I have been since I was a kid, brought up on Superman 2, Richard Donner cut, and in fact, one of my earliest memories was going to watch Superman 3 in the cinema in Brightfield, just up the road. And it's one of those things that I just fell in love with as a kid, the magic of being able to fly and having the powers of Superman. As I grew up, I understood more about the ethos of Superman and the morals of the character. And a lot of people think that Superman's quite a vanilla character. It's very overpowered. It doesn't have to make tough decisions. But what I would say to those individuals is going away and have a look at Superman versus the Elite, an animated TV movie from DC, and that actually shows Superman in a different light. It actually breaks down the decision-making process that Superman has to make in order to be who he is actually meant to be. And that ties nicely into leadership, for me anyway, is that the fact that Superman is somebody that has to make the right decision in every circumstance, regardless of whether it's for his own personal gain or for the gain of other individuals. He must make the best decision that is available to himself at all times. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm just going to watch through the trailer. I will show us individual clips and then I'll break them down. The reason why I'm doing this is that I'm interested in the movie and I love the idea of the Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, but also that I've watched a couple of these YouTube videos and I think they're just missing one or two beats when it comes to the story and plotline. So I thought I would give my 2 pennies worth. So the trailer starts with Superman crying out in pain, having been stabbed in the heart by Doomsday at the end of Batman vs Superman. And this, to me, sets the tone for the rest of the movie and puts it in the continuity of the franchise itself. Superman had just been murdered by Doomsday at the conclusion of the previous Zack Snyder film, which was Batman vs Superman. And Zack Snyder is forcibly placing that in your mind's eye as a watcher, exactly where this movie sits. So this means it's before Aquaman and that story. So some audiences will be slightly confused by that, but ultimately I think a lot of people can buy into where a movie sits nowadays, because we've been experienced with stuff like our TV series when they do flashbacks and they're moving back and forth in time, and stuff like the Marvel Universe, which consistently changes its history to fit its narrative. So say, for example, Captain Marvel becoming an Avenger, being set up as an Avenger way before even Nick Fury understood that there were aliens out there. So for me, this first part answers a couple of questions for me as well. So Superman's call, his shout in pain as he's been stabbed through the heart, actually awakens the mother boxes. But also, that's the bell being rung that Lex Luthor talks about. That is the call to Steppenwolf that Earth is ready. Now, for me, I always struggled with the first Justice League because I just thought, why is Steppenwolf turning up now? I mean, if he turned up 50 years before, there would have been no Superman, there'd be no Aquaman, there'd be no Flash, there'd be no Cyborg. There wouldn't probably be the Martian Manhunter if he is in this movie. Wonder Woman would have been around because obviously she came around in 1918. But majority of the superheroes, the age of heroes that we talk about later on in the trailer, wouldn't have been there. So, but why would Steppenwolf come here right now? And ultimately, this scene answers that question.
The bell's been rung. Out in the dark, among the stars. dead.
I think this scene here is pretty much saying that the Amazonians have tried to entomb Steppenwolf inside the temple that housed the mother box. I think there's no hole in the side of the wall here, so it doesn't look like Steppenwolf has broke his way out, as it does do in the theatrical cut. And there's a lot of Amazonians sat around the outside of the temple. So to me, that suggests that Hepatola has got out, and that Steppenwolf is still inside the temple, and the Amazonians have detonated some failsafe to entomb whoever tried to come and get the mother box inside the temple underneath the rubble of Themyscira.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition.
So here we've just seen Ben Affleck's Batman in his nightmare scenes. I think a lot of the scenes that we're going to have in this movie will straddle the scenes in Batman vs Superman. Now, whether they're all going to be dreams by Ben Affleck, or some of them are going to be visions by Cyborg when he's in the mother box, I'm not entirely sure. But I think you'll see a lot of things that happen in this movie that that bring to life what happened in Batman vs Superman's nightmare scenes. Also, you then have a scene with Wonder Woman. We've seen extended little bits from this before, where she's in the temple after the arrow's been sent, warning Wonder Woman that something is afoot with the mother boxes, and that she is researching, understanding why, what the mother boxes were and who came before. So that's Uxas, who becomes Darkseid, and Steppenwolf, obviously, who is coming again. Now, for me, I think because of the first invasion that failed, I think Steppenwolf has been cast aside. He's been exiled by Darkseid, or Uxas at the time, and this is him about gaining favour back with Uxas and Darkseid. I don't think that Uxas is involved at this moment in time until Steppenwolf can be almost successful. When he's got all three mother boxes, that's when Darkseid starts coming into this movie, because at the moment it's all Uxas. It's all Steppenwolf that's around the invasion, trying to get all the mother boxes together. And I think that's because he's trying to buy favour with his favourite nephew, Darkseid.
I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors.
A lot of these clips have been seen before in the previous cut. Obviously, Steppenwolf is slightly different now, and that he has this armor and is not so human looking, and looks a little bit more menacing. Key here, though, is the destruction at Wonder Woman's the building in London, the stock exchange. It gets blown up in the original Justice League. So I think at the moment, in the original cut, Wonder Woman is able to escape with that bomb, and it detonates above the building. But it doesn't appear to do that in this cut, and that might mean that Wonder Woman has to undergo some sort of story arc to rediscover that she can be a hero and that she can do her job properly, because she fails in this first instant.
I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough?
We've just seen what seems to be an extended battle in Atlantis with Aquaman and Steppenwolf, and probably some Atlanteans. So there's definitely more footage there. We also see Cyborg in the future. Now, he is in a bodysuit that he uses throughout the movie, the predominant bodysuit he uses in the movie. If you remember, at the end of the original Justice League, he has a more comic book esque body metal cyborg body, I guess, with the round center chest piece. In this clip, which clearly shows that he's in the nightmare scene area, he's in the original bodysuit. It's a very shard like stone or gem in his chest, power unit. I'm not a massive Cyborg fan, so I apologise, Ray Fisher. I'll pay more attention to you in the future. But the character was so bland in the original Justice League, and I think that the Justice League that we're going to get has Cyborg and the Flash almost holding together the timelines. And I'll talk about the timelines in a second, but I do think that the timelines are there's going to be 3 different timelines, and we're going to see each of these play out in order to make sure that the Flash understands what he needs to do, Cyborg knows what he needs to do, and Batman needs to know what they're to do.
If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
So I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred, and he's giving some sage advice to Batman and maybe even the rest of the team about the dangers of bringing Superman back. They're explored in the original cut, and the Flash talks about Pet Sematary. But there's also an idea that it's not just about bringing Superman back, but able to make sure that he comes back as Superman. Definitely there is an expectation that Superman could come under the anti-life equation, which is what Darkseid wanted and why he came to Earth in the first place. And so if that comes to light, if Superman does fall to the side of Darkseid, then all humanity is doomed.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life.
This part of the trailer is very Superman-centric. We have Jonathan Kent using his quote from the original Man of Steel. And I just want to talk a little bit here about Superman. Superman being my most favourite character, and somebody that I grew up with, and a character that is beloved by myself. I even have a few tattoos on my arm for Superman. So I'd actually thought that, although I love the idea of Zack Snyder's DC universe and how it's all created and all entwined, I was not always happy about his portrayal about Superman. Mainly because Superman, that paragon of good, the character that I know and love, hasn't been there in almost any of the movies so far. And I understand that Zack Snyder is setting up Superman to become that character. But we've already had the death of Superman. And that continuity, that storyline, those beats of the story isn't there because Superman should have been that character, but he's not that character. So I'm hoping that his arc, now that he's died and he's been resurrected, is one of hope and one that we see going forward. If I'm honest, apart from the terrible CGI, Superman in Justice League was more akin to the Superman that I know and love. I love that Superman. He wasn't used. He came at the end and saved the day. But that's the Superman that I got brought up on. That paragon of good. The storyline that Zack has played out for him, I think, is coming to fruition early. If I'm honest, this movie seems like it's Justice League Part 1 and Part 2 almost amalgamated, trying to get as much of those 2 storylines in there as possible. And I'm missing the third part where the Justice League go to Apocalypse and fights Darkseid on his own turf. And we know how that can work out if you watched Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, which I think is the conclusion to Zack Snyder's 5-movie arc. So the character Superman hasn't really hit the marks that I wanted it to, but you start seeing these now. Lois Lane being the key. She might not be used as quite blatantly as she's used in the original Justice League, but she is definitely somebody that makes Superman human. She is his world, after all, in Batman vs Superman. So that idea that Superman has something to hold on to and fight for is really important for me and for this movie.
Find out what that reason is.
I just wanted to talk here quickly about Superman Flight 2.0, as a lot of people are calling it. This is Superman flying again after getting the black suit and coming out of the spacecraft. We've seen little visuals of this where Superman wanders through the spaceship to go and get his suit. Now, whether that's at the conclusion of the resurrection scene, I'm assuming this is after. So Superman goes back to the Kent farm. He speaks to his parent, to his mum, and he speaks to Lois, and then returns back to the ship to go and get his suit. In the comics, the black suit allows him to take in more sunlight and therefore helps him recover his strength quicker. Now, one point here is that the fact that Superman is brought back to life technically in the same way that Doomsday got brought back to life. He's in the chamber, in the spacecraft, in the fluid, whatever it is that came out of the spacecraft after Superman had destroyed it at the end of Man of Steel. And he's brought back in a very similar way. He might not be the abomination that Doomsday is, but he is brought back in that embryonic fluid. For me, the difference between Zod and Superman is the codex that was placed inside Superman in Man of Steel. And that is the point that keeps him away from becoming Doomsday and allows him to come back as Clark Kent / Superman. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the colour scheme that is used throughout this movie. A lot darker than it was in the original Justice League. And I think mainly that's because the CGI was not completed in Justice League, and they wanted to mask out a lot of the stuff that they'd not even bothered to fill in with, whereas Zack Snyder's been able to go back in and fill that in. But also the mood of the movie. There's elements of this that are going to be very, very dark because the Justice League are going to get beat. Now, that should mean that the Flash then goes back in time. His time travel areas, when he moves, it looks like the ruined Russian city at the end of the original Justice League. So I'm assuming that at one stage the Justice League get beat, and that means that they have prompted to go back and go and get Superman to make sure that they do beat Steppenwolf properly the second time round. And it's the Flash that gives them the opportunity to go and do that. You've also got Cyborg, and I will talk about Cyborg in a second, but his timeline is slightly different because he goes into the mother boxes, and so he's able to access what the mother box knows, and it tries to trick him. It's a bit like the Ring in Lord of the Rings, that it tries to get him to come on that side and manipulate him a little bit. And shows him a future that he could possibly have with his parents inside the mother box, which is obviously for him a great pull. Two things to unpack here. Firstly is the War Machine from Batman Returns comic that Batman is actually stood upon in that trailer. This could be as part of the nightmare scene where Batman has become more militant and become more of a freedom fighter, and the War Machine is the element, the new Batmobile. The second one is what we were just talking about a minute ago, which is Cyborg going inside the mother box, and here I think he sees his parents. If there's a clip, there's a image from Ray Fisher's Twitter that shows this little element here, and you can see the Flash coming up behind him, and I think the Flash is warning him exactly the dangers of what the mother box has and how that's going to impact the rest of the Justice League and its future.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
A lot of these scenes we've seen before, just intercut and recolored. Obviously, Superman is no longer in his red and blue suit; he's in his black suit, and he looks a lot better. Behind him is definitely a boom tube. I think this is very close to the conclusion of the movie, before Wonder Woman cuts off Steppenwolf's head, and it rolls through the boom tube and lands at the feet of Darkseid. I want to talk about two things here. Firstly, the black and white version, or Justice's grey version, that Zack Snyder keeps on talking about. I'm not really sure about his creative decision here. I'd probably watch it. I'd probably watch as many versions as I possibly could do. But the whole point for me is that comic book movies are colourful. I know that some comics are black and white, and the most important elements and cells are colour. But I want to see those vibrant colours in the movie. I want to see how colourful Wonder Woman actually is. I like the Superman contrast, the silver and the black. In black and white, I don't think that will come across as well. Secondly, the ratio. So he's selected a 4:3 ratio rather than the normal 16:9. So the movie itself will not look like a normal format. It looks like one of those old movies from like the 80s or something. One of those VHS video ones where it's more of a box screen, so it's more like this area here. You get a lot more height with that sort of ratio, but you lose a lot from the sides. I'd be interested to see how much of this movie we get to see extra that we didn't see in the original cut. I've seen some people show like images on Twitter about how this ratio will work, and Joss Whedon's version does seem a lot more zoomed in, and we get a lot more of the scope of the movie from this new cut.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
Right then, so a couple of things to unpack here. Obviously the Joker. I think Jared Leto is a excellent actor and somebody that can play the Joker. I'm a little bit annoyed by the idea that a lot of his scenes were cut in the original Suicide Squad, and that possibly could play into HBO's hands, that they have got a second cut of Suicide Squad that could at least bring forth the idea that we've got other Joker footage. He could be an excellent Joker. I wasn't convinced by the gangster style that he was in Suicide Squad, but from what I've heard about the Ayer cut, he's a lot more manipulative. He actually gets a gangster to commit suicide rather than him murdering him, which shows a psychological different side to the Joker. In this movie, I think the Joker actually saves Batman's life. That's why Batman has the Joker card strapped to his rifle in BVS. That would mean that Joker sacrifices himself for Batman, because without Batman, there is no point Joker being around. And and although he probably is running rampant in the nightmare world, the fact is that he's only happy when Batman is challenging him. The other things that I wanted to talk about was the Junkie XL soundtrack. Now, I heard one of the songs last night, played it over and over and over again. Very epic, very big, lots of almost sampling of the Justice League music from the animated series. He brings it well together. I didn't really like the Danny Elfman music. I thought that the idea that bringing the Batman theme from the 1989 Michael Keaton one was a bit cheesy. And I know that this isn't Richard Donner's Superman, so bringing in, I don't even think Henry has reached the heights of Christopher Reeve's Superman yet. So I really didn't see how that was worthy of the character at that point. I would much rather have that in the future as part of something that when Superman actually becomes Superman and feels like he is Superman. It's nice having Hans Zimmer have done the music for Man of Steel. He's the best conductor and artist in musical artist in Hollywood at this moment in time. He's up there with John Williams as far as I'm concerned. And I really think that having John Williams and Hans Zimmer have both done a Superman tune is quite epic, actually, because I think they're the best two in the industry. Lastly, I'll just talk about the movie itself, the movie structure. I think the movie will start and it will go through pretty much as the original Justice League was, but apart from, they're not going to go and get Superman, and so they're going to get beat by Steppenwolf. The Flash will need to go back in time and warn the Justice League about what's going to happen. But that will also mean that we get to, well, it doesn't also mean, but we will get to see the nightmare sequence where I think Superman has succumbed to the anti-life equation, and that danger, even by bringing Superman back to life, is still prevalent, that Superman could go bad and could become an ally of Darkseid. And so all their efforts to save the Earth might come to nothing if they can't awaken Clark inside the powerful body of Superman. I know that's a long video. I'm sorry it took so long. I just wanted to put this out there. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. If it gets a bit of traction, I might do a Man of Steel breakdown and a Batman vs Superman breakdown, because I definitely think those two movies deserve an opportunity. Prior to the Justice League release, I'll be watching it on the night of release, and I will do a video not long after the release of that movie, probably about 4.5 hours afterwards, so I can get down, watch it, gather my thoughts and put something together. Thank you very much for watching.